Good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Oguta Roundtable. Today, for the first time, we're going to be having a full house, and I mean a full house. And so we ask you to join us as we bring in, we're going to have Ambassador 𝗃cie 𝗂𝗏. We're also having 𝗏𝗏 and Pastor Chuks, all coming on one single platform. So sit back, relax as we bring you these powerful people. But already in the studio now, we have Ambassador 𝗃cie. Ambassador 𝗃cie 𝗂𝗏, you're welcome to Oguta Roundtable. Ambassador 𝗃cie, welcome to Oguta Roundtable. Okay, 𝗏𝗏 is standing by. Let's also bring her to join Ambassador 𝗃cie as we begin the discussions for today. Over the last week, we talked about so many things affecting development in Oguta. Yeah, we had the rare privilege of talking with Barry Geoffrey, yes, and he gave us a lot of insight into development and also a gathering of the OCDU in Abuja that will discuss a lot of development strides that needs to be applied to the Oguta community around the world and back home. He also commended a lot of efforts that have been made by groups like 𝗏𝗏. This week alone attracted a major project and a groundbreaking of this project, which will relate to you as the program today go on. So let's bring in 𝗏𝗏 to the platform. 𝗏𝗏, welcome to Oguta Roundtable. Today you are been involved in so many developmental strides in Oguta, and it's with a lot of excitement that we bring you here. You've been outspoken and vocal about things that must be done and done right. And we are going to start with asking you to, first of all, introduce yourself to the Oguta community around the world, please.
Thank you. I'm originally from Umusoha village, Oguta. And now, a lot I know to say, married to Prince Bruno Ghaniala, the Duke.
Okay. Mbona Idu, and thanks for coming on Oguta Roundtable. Recently, there was elections in Oguta, and it came with a lot of expectations, disappointment, and what have you. Even though Oguta has been a very vibrant town with people in Oguta like yourself getting involved and making things happen. One of the notable one is the Light Up Oguta. And then, of course, your group, 𝗏𝗏, has also been involved in a lot of self-help development and projects for Oguta. My question would be to you today is focused on what are those things you would like to see in Oguta within the next 6 months to 1 year to make you feel like Oguta is on the right track?
Thank you, Hassan. One of the major things I really want to see in Oguta is improved community engagement. I want to encourage active participation from all, from the men, from the women, from the youth, from the elderly, because this helps in decision making that can only carry the community forward. As you are aware, currently, there are a few Oguta WhatsApp platforms that are quite active, like the Oguta Concerns group. Then we have 𝗏𝗏𝗂𝗏 that have structure that are also on WhatsApp. I want to see more people getting involved, because if you look at those platforms, how the same people, you find out that it's either just a few people. Every other person, they'll read and jump and pass. We cannot get better by people just ignoring issues that are bothering us. Like if you notice on the platform, in the past 2 days, we've had a series of engagements on 𝗓𝗏𝗂𝗓. So if people don't speak up, there will not be solutions on the way to move us forward. That's what I think. So definitely to encourage active participation, to bring up establish community development committees that will do a community assessment to identify our needs and how to prioritize them. I know that we have OCDU. Most of the OCDs are not active in some chapters. I think we should see more people getting involved in this thing. That's what I think will help us in moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Learning from some of the projects you've been involved in, like one of the major ones that stand out is the Light Up Oguta committee that rose from nowhere and has done wonderfully well and has challenged so many individuals and groups. Without overplugging it, I want you to give us some of the reviews and feedback of what you think were the lessons, the challenges of the Light Up Oguta project for us to all learn from moving forward.
Thank you. So there are 7 of us in the Light Up Oguta committee. I don't want to start calling our names, but it's one of the most challenging committees I've worked in. From dealing with male egos to also dealing with EEDC. So the EEDC people are unimaginably inefficient. It's been a difficult one. We started this project over a year ago, and we had promised the people that by December that we're going to bring back electricity to Oguta, which fortunately we did. But our plan was to meter every home in Oguta so that we'll leave our old ways of waiting for the government to pay our bills for people to pay as you go. But as you can tell, or as you can see, it's been a difficult thing. Even as a leadership of 𝗓𝗏𝗂𝗓𝗏 in Enugu, and they promised us that some of the meters will be delivered by today. It's 7 p.m. and they still haven't delivered. So it's been a huge challenge. We nearly gave up, but we're not going to give up. We have very strong people there with diverse experiences and temperaments that have helped us to stay and maintain our focus. So we're assuring the Oguta people that we're going to do everything within our professional capacity to see there's an improvement in the electricity they will get at Christmas. We're monitoring everything. Every time I put the Oguta, there's someone just sitting down and we share the data with you. We have been paying the bills for the Oguta people for the 5 months because we refuse that since we already came up and encouraged people to get their meters and they make payments for their meters that will be directly. We're hoping that this month will be the last time we're going to do that because Christmas is around the corner.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back to EEDC next week and make sure that everybody that's already paid the meters get their meters delivered and installed just in time for the holidays. Thank you.
And then still back in dealing with established institutions and inefficiencies, what do you want to say, especially to the government, now that we have the local government properly structured? What advice, if you were talking face to face with the local government chairman and all the head of other institutions and parastatals that are interfacing with us in Oguta, if you were talking with them face to face, what would be your major advice to them?
So, thank you. I'll encourage them to get more involved in what is happening in Oguta. When we were, as you are aware, some people were unable to pay for their meters because they don't have the money. We expected the government to at least, even if it was donating a certain number of meters, these indigent people that can't afford to pay for their meters. We also think that the government can engage EEDC directly, because it's on them then they will probably be more efficient. Though we're dealing with the real leaders, like our meetings are with the DMD of 𝗖𝗔𝗕𝗂, and yet we're not getting any results. What we also think is that because of the backlog of all the debts that they were owing 𝗖𝗔𝗕𝗂, it affected us at the beginning, but we're able to have an agreement with 𝗖𝗔𝗕. We spent millions of naira refurbishing the transformers, which was how come Oguta could have electricity. I think that now that we have a local government chairman, we can get more involved. We can partner with our community, with our committee, and see how we can engage 𝗖𝗔𝗕. The 𝗧𝗔 is involved in the engagement, so you even know. Yeah. If you recall, a few months ago, when we handed over the infrastructure to 𝗖𝗔𝗕, the 𝗧𝗔 was present for the people. So, but I think that it's still not too late for the government to donate some money towards purchases of meters for those people that can't afford it. They could decide to do for villages and assign a certain number of meters to those villages. And at least it will be good for the people and also a good achievement for the government. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I want to also note that our 𝗧𝗋 was promptly, in fact, was early and seated, and the EEDC conspicuously came very late even for that event you just mentioned.
That's how inefficient EEDC is.
Yeah, I was just trying to leave it to the board and to thank the Oguta people for not relenting, because I just discovered that especially your Light Up Oguta committee and the 𝗧𝗔𝗕𝗟𝗏, which you also belong to, keep to time in their events and in their functions. Unfortunately, some other parastatals and even some of our people in Oguta are not used to meeting up to those standards you're setting. But I want to also beg you people on behalf of the Oguta people not to relent. It's a long journey and we'll keep catching up with you until it becomes our culture and our habit. Once again, I want to say thank you for your involvement in some of this committee. Mbona.
Thank you.
Now let's go to women and children. Your 𝗧𝗔𝗕𝗟𝗏, which you're in fact you are the vice chair of 𝗧𝗔𝗕𝗟𝗏, so please confirm that. Hello, Lolo, you do confirm you are the vice chairman of 𝗧𝗔𝗕𝗟𝗏.
Yes, sir, you're correct. So okay. Just a few weeks ago at the last election, they made me the vice chairman.
Congratulations, ma. On behalf of the entire crew of One Radio Oguta and the One Community Network, we want to say congratulations, and we are very certain that it's the right cap for the right head. Then when we said this to say, we also want to thank your organization for attracting the Women's Center that was just yesterday laid the foundation laying stone. Just tell us a little about that project and what we should expect from it for the Oguta people.
Thank you. So this is part of the federal government of Nigeria's initiative. So I understand that all the senators were given a chance to select a town in their constituent so that they can build a vocational /
multi-purpose
multi-purpose center.
Yes.
So and the senator is in 𝗙𝗏𝗂𝗓𝗂 So and because of the relationship we have with 𝗙𝗏𝗂𝗓𝗂, I don't know when you 𝗙𝗏𝗂𝗓𝗂. In fact, he was adopted into the 8th grade a few years ago. So he decided to come and put it in Oguta. As you are aware, it's a huge one for us.
It is.
So we're hoping that by the end of next year, the begin ceremony is yesterday, and things with the federal, even the new local government chairman is also aware of what is happening and was present at yesterday's event. So this is actually good for the 𝗧𝗔𝗕𝗟𝗏 because everybody will ensure that we keep the complete of the program, because the people can go and acquire the skills they require. Because as you are aware, most of our people, most of our youth are unemployable because most of them are not going to school, and for some of them, it's too late to go to school. So the most you can do is to empower them through skills acquisition and vocational schooling. So, and this will in turn lead to more SMEs being planted in Oguta. And then you can see how you can see that the businesses in Oguta and more entrepreneurs to and there will be more economic empowerment, which is good for us. If you get to Oguta, most of the people are broke. So everybody is dependent on Oguta. Whichever one Oguta, other 30 years go for food. When be in America, before Jack and it's not as easy as the people make it seem. I just want to, I think it's a good thing initiative that all of us are going to fruition so that people can think from it. Thank you.
Finally, one actually I wanted to ask you about. Please, how come you abandoned 𝗙𝗶𝗂𝗂𝗵𝗶 and came back to Nigeria? 𝗙𝗶𝗂𝗂𝗵𝗶 came back. Some people are ready to sell their hearts and their kidneys to go. You went, schooled, and then came back.
So it's a funny one. So prior to now, like today, I used to be the only sibling of my parents to be in 𝗙𝗶𝗂𝗂𝗵𝗶. Apart from my brother, all the other girls and my other brother, I brought in America, I brought in Nigeria. That I called the Three Musketeers. I didn't want my children to be all Nigerian. All American, sorry. So when my oldest daughter was 8 and my youngest was 2.9, I moved back to Nigeria. I'm also one of those people that never really enjoyed living abroad. So, and when I had the opportunity to come back to Nigeria, I jumped at it and I moved back. Just as an aside, when I moved back to this country, I didn't have a job and I did not have the cash, but I believed in myself and I knew, because I used to look at, I lived in Nigeria before I moved abroad, so I compared the two worlds, and I believe that I gave my trip that bringing my children back to Nigeria made them better people. Like that, they could never be all Americans and they could never be all Nigerian. So if you see them with their cousins, you can see that there's a difference from the exposure to coming to complete their primary and secondary schooling in Nigeria. So when the children got old enough to go back to college in the US, they all went back. All three of them are graduates today. But me, I decided to stay back in Nigeria and create a better life for myself. I'm retired. I retired 2 years ago. I took a full year break, but now I'm running my recycling business. There was a post someone put in my family platform. I'll put it into Oguta platforms after this show, saying that it's never too late to start a new thing. So there's a big burden in my heart now, and the new burden is to set up a rehabilitation center for 150 boys. I was going to do it in Lagos, but now I have mixed feelings. I'm thinking that with 𝗙𝗵𝗂𝗂𝗵𝗶 during the election, I don't think I want to have any investment in Lagos. So I'm in a crossroad right now. So I'm thinking of channeling it to alternative and sustainable farming and taking it back to the east. So these are the things I'm working on and starting a new life after my retirement. Yeah. So the only reason I'm sharing this story is to tell people that some people, it worked out good for them in America. Some people, Nigeria is a better place for them. Don't move because other people are moving. America is not as easy as people make it seem. And when you just have to believe in God. And I believe that everybody before we're born, they've written all our destinies and what we're going to become. I didn't see myself succeeding in America. And one last thing on this, never ever be negative about the land that you live in. It's the power of the tongue. If you keep, when I used to complain a lot when I was in America. Probably that was why I didn't like America. But I got a chance to go to school, get my master's before I carried my bag back to Nigeria. So I hope the story makes sense to you. Even till today, someone asked me, what are you still doing here? So my husband is British, I'm American. Actually, I'm not England, America. So we decided to create a world for ourselves in Nigeria. You will never believe if we be in Lagos, Nigeria, because I'm my own local government. I made my house comfortable that I don't miss anything. And anytime I don't come to Nigerian stress, I don't drive out. Because if you drive out, then you become aggressive and angry. So that's how I've managed to maintain my mental well-being in Nigeria. And there's more money here. There's more money here. I can tell you for free.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I actually share a lot of your sentiment. Unfortunately, we have just 1 hour for this program and we cannot express all of them here. And then kudos to your recycling business, because that is the way to go. You know, before now, we used to pay people to come and throw away a lot of our trash. These days, we sell a lot of those trash if we know where to sell them, and we are making a lot of money from them.
Yes, sir.
Then there's something else I wanted to call your attention to, especially when it comes to renewable energy. Now, in that has to do with Light Up Oguta. Do you have in your pipeline or in Light Up Oguta to explore renewable energy for homes in Oguta, where people can probably maybe a pool of funds where people can probably get a few cheap solar power lights and even cheap, the simplest ones, and they can pay in installments?
That would have been our phase 3, but I can't speak for the committee. And the way the EDC people overwhelmed us, I don't know if there'll be a phase 3. I'm not in a position to.
No, but that's why I'm calling on behalf of the Oguta people, because when we interviewed a few people after the street lights, but if this solar could also enter their house, no, yeah,
yeah, no problem. Rechargeable bulbs now. So yeah, get up the what just do rechargeable bulbs to the many people? Or could be or charge anyway. It will or last hour for some hours. That's actually a cheap way to go.
So maybe
if you see a lot of
maybe we will work with Light Up Oguta to sensitize people on a few small ways of even managing power. You know, power management is a very big thing, especially for those who live in advanced countries who understand the cost of dollar to a watt. They learned how to manage power, but here they wait a hand and if will leave this light on there, leave this fridge on there, and leave everything to be blaring.
I know what you mean. It's a young requires sensitization and then learning how to talk to the people and teach them how to live a better life. Yeah. So, like I said, our biggest challenge is was to meter the Oguta houses so that people can pay as you go.
Yeah.
We got really overwhelmed by EDC, and we're hoping that we're going to have another meeting with them in this November, and hopefully we've also encouraged EDC to go to Oguta and start selling meters by themselves, because we have stopped collecting new applications. Yeah. Okay. So we've told them to go to Oguta, sell your meters by yourself, do mass metering, so that more people will be there and you can generate more revenue from the community. And that will justify giving us preference or giving us more hours as agreed with them at the meetings.
And then also I learned that an office was provided for EEDC in Oguta. Is it by 𝗏𝗏 or the community? Please tell us a little about that.
Which one is that?
An office being provided for EEDC in Oguta.
Well, done by the Light Up Oguta initiative, and we paid for a full year of them.
Wow.
I think we're supposed to pay for 2 years. So we got them an office space. They came for inspection. The EEDC we gave them 3 places. They inspected it and they selected that one by the Catholic Church, those lock-up shops.
Okay.
So this is also to tell the Oguta people, if you haven't paid for your meter, please feel free to walk into the EEDC office in Oguta and pay for your meter so that they can come and install for you just in time for the holidays. The only the disadvantage of not having your meter is that they'll be giving you estimated billing. Me use Rami use 𝗲𝗏𝗂𝗂𝗏𝗵. And they said that if you don't pay your estimated billing when you receive it, they're going to cut you off from the grid. And these days, if you notice, one day you're going to meter, they're putting the meters on the pole. Question I'm going to now boycott their meters.
Meters, okay.
And with that, I could do more on Oguta. When I just wish you, I could be the person. So maybe I've been praying that it will happen to one person so that it will deter others from doing that. Because the people were they refused to put the meters on the walls that they would do everywhere. And insisted on putting it very high where people can reach.
And they say that we are the worst 𝗏𝗏𝗃 meter, 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 that they are using us for example.
No, national what they've been doing.
Okay, that's not their new method.
Yes, they had a reason for doing that.
Okay, I thought they were singling us out. I was going to take it personal.
It's only 3-phase meter. The CNN or your phone to do, not the grid. They are using the 8 in a free that the boycott. So you can take it away. Most people are fraudulent around here. And they must have done the analysis. When I am now what they supply to the bulk meter or to the community, then they calculate what they're getting from the community, then they will go to that
Then coming to women and planning, I mean, you have been talking about this your retirement from like 3-4 years ago. Now, what do you have to tell your fellow women, especially those who are still in active service and they are planning ahead, especially before even they start having children and long after that?
Luckily for us in Nigeria, the Pension Reform Act makes it mandatory for anybody that works in a company with 3 or more people that they must contribute towards pension for their staff. Don't know their fundamental human rights. Some of these employers don't do what they're supposed to do. And the contributory pension scheme in Nigeria, well, you will have, at the end of the month, they'll take a percentage from your salary, and your employer is supposed to match it. Some employers even do more than they're supposed to do. So, but I tell people all the time too, if you're self-employed, also set up a pension scheme for yourself. And every month, you should be disciplined enough to save up money for your retirement. No matter what it is, if people are not forced to save for their retirement in Nigeria, most of us will not have accumulated millions of naira we got from being diligent and doing the right thing. Yeah. So if you own your own business, please walk into a pension fund administrator and open an account and start contributing towards your pension. For the men, most men think that they can do better than the investment managers and stuff. For men, I encourage them, don't go and build the biggest house in Oguta. If you know the city where you live in, build a house in the city and build something that like attached to like flats or even a duplex, a roll semi-detached duplex, so that year in, year out, you're getting rents for your retirement. You cannot wait until you retire before you can start building a house with your money from retirement. Most times you're going to stop halfway and get stuck. If you've never been in business, please don't use your retirement money to go and start a business because you're going to lose your full money. And a full high, when you're not run maybe a shell or in a bank, they retire, 𝗙𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗵𝗏. You man get your name bread. But some of them, they'll go and open a salon. They will steal all their money and in 2-3 years, the business will collapse. Yeah. If okay, not even one retirement payment to their money, they got to marry a second wife. You know, or they say that getting a salon for their wives and not engaged in Amish. So stick to what you know. There's the sweetest part of it is that there's a certain amount that comes to you every month, so you can plan your monthly expenses based on what you're receiving, and you live a good life. So these things are working. People keep saying they're not working. They're working in Nigeria. Insurance is working. pension is working. I cannot drive a car without insurance. A few weeks ago, someone hit me, and the guy did not have insurance, but I had insurance, and my insurance paid for my car.
Wow.
So these things are working, and all I needed to do was call my broker, 𝗓𝗏𝗂𝗓𝗂𝗓𝗏 he did everything, and then they paid for the car to be fixed. So these things that we should, I think that most Nigerians are not aware of what is happening in the environment, and people are so negative and are not even trying to learn new ways of doing things. So I hope I answered your question correctly.
But can I have 120%? Then one last thing is it's spending culture of our people. You know, do you know the worst thing that you can see in Nigeria? Diego will be complaining that Onyengere is stingy. I don't know whether you've seen that in Oguta. You give somebody that is begging you for money. Well, she said that you need is stingy.
So, I tell people all the time, nobody tells any other person how to spend their money. That's my mantra. So, and women are excessive. I've been in Lagos. If you in Lagos, man ain't a problem. As at today, I'm in 3 groups of people. Only Papa, Mama, ITM can anywhere go. As of today, I'm in 3 or 4 groups. One or D. Ashina as well should be 100,000, 75,000. I don't. In ETM now, those groups. I just sit there until the end of the group. We'll keep back on a weapon because why now? So I found out that there's no need to argue. So in such groups, why would I spend 100K in paying a list for somebody else's daughter's marriage? So what I do, if those people are those ones there, so I will not attend the wedding at all. I will just tell you I'm not in town or I'm not available. How would you know by force? So people should be able to say no and cut their coats according to their sizes and their pockets. And that's my mantra to spending. And you can't keep saying that you're also stingy. You go get your own money. There's actually joy. There's more joy in giving than in receiving. So the person should start giving and not receiving.
Finally, before we let you go, we let you go, I'm going to ask you just a few questions, especially for our young people who are about to start life. Secondly, even for those who are couples who are just getting together and about to start life, because sometimes the best time to correct a thing is before it takes off. Some young people who are leaving school, if you have your way from your life lessons now that you are retired, say at the beginning of your career, what would have been those key lessons that you can say that are like gold that you wish someone told you before you started life at post graduation?
So for me, moving back to America, I moved to America when I was 26. And I can not become today. I would have gone to school and studied that pharmacy. Because can't be a nurse. Nobody else came in nothing. America gave that 𝗓𝗏𝗂𝗓𝗏. I said if I already any course only in America. So I used to say if I had to live my life in America, I would have gone to school to study pharmacy because it's good to be in the medical field. The only reason I said that is nobody is reinventing the wheel. They're easy. Luckily for these younger children now, there are lots of remote jobs. If you're a guy or even a girl and you're IT inclined, go and get a certification and add to your degree. A basic degree is like nothing now. So find out what the trend is and move with the trend. The worst thing you can do to yourself is to stay in a company for 10 years and there's no progress, no promotions, and you're still sitting there. Do your father's business. So watch your space you're in and follow the trend. Only the positive trends, or the negative. And I think first, another thing I tell people is to find yourself, discover yourself, and find out what you like. Avoid toxic relationships. Most people, like me, my first marriage failed. most people that have gone through failed marriages, if they are honest with you, will tell you that from the beginning they knew it wasn't going to work, but they thought they could make it work.
Okay.
So that's a big mistake that most people do.
Yeah.
That feeling that this thing is not working, you better jump out fast before 𝗙𝗎𝗂𝗓𝗂.
And then most of the time, the earlier the better.
Oh yeah, so you can nip it in the bud. Be a runaway bride is better than being a divorcee.
Yeah. And even being a divorcee is even better than to die in the marriage.
Parents, boy, I joy on a teeth. Some of them, even the emotional abuse is worse than physical abuse. So you can not abuse very too much. You can actually have a heart attack. That because you have blood pressure. Connection in the dinner. What is the matter?
Yeah.
So I think avoid toxic relationships. Find friends that can add value to you and you can be of value to, and not just you know, don't just have friends for partying. There's more to life than that.
No.
Improve on yourself. Never stop learning. Read a book. You know? So there are different ways that little things. Luckily, I have my 3 children belong to 2 different generations. My youngest child is a Gen Z, while my older 2 are millennials. So I have these parented people in 2 different generations. And I can tell you that it's not easy. It's not easy.
Especially when they think they know better than that you don't money pay do.
But guess what? When they get older, they actually come back and tell you that now they know better. It's time they'll come back. Because at first they'll think you're stupid, I don't understand. They don't have to tell you that, but you can see it in their eyes.
Okay, finally, living in Oguta has been a funny challenge because of how expensive things are. Then with the devaluation of the naira, it would have been good for an export economy. So what can you say to people, especially our people who have the opportunity and are sitting on it, about manufacturing something or doing something for export? You pointed out about remote jobs. A lot of young people, Indians and young people in remote villages around the world are taking advantage of the world as a global village and making money from people all over the world. Even a lot of Nigerians are now giving remote jobs to people outside Nigeria, and yet a lot of our young people are sitting in their villages using their laptops and their data to watch rubbish on the internet, while others are using the same devices and data to make money in foreign currency.
What is the new goal? On my way, I went out this afternoon with my husband. On my way back, I just gave him 2 business ideas. If you notice in my profile, I have a soap line. NAFDAC, so I can start exporting it to $10.
Wow.
Then, so people should look for, 𝗙𝗵𝗂𝗂 is a big one. I saw a video of one girl that is a beauty queen in one of these African countries. This whole her farm, she has chickens and stuff, and she has a fish farm. It sounds like people are without water. The people that all the people that have money can go and buy fish fingerings and pour them every month or every 2 months. They use the lake, and they grow naturally, and people will have constant things to feed. None of that you now buy
Gamalin, yeah.
You know, dynamite.
And so a lot of them then are Oguta. People from outside Oguta, from everywhere.
There was a ways of putting the security people on a lot so that when 𝗙𝗔𝗕𝗟𝗃, then they'll pay for their sin. There must be consequences for bad behavior. The only reason people are doing what they're doing in Nigeria is that there are no consequences for bad behavior. Anybody can get away with murder. But like on that fishing and farming, we have a big farmland. People should come in clusters. They have sponsors, and there are lots of funds online for community farmers. You know, so if someone can organize them in clusters, they will get funding. and things will be easier for the people that are based in Oguta. My father used to be a politician when I was growing up, and after I created Imo State, we moved back to Oguta. I lived in Oguta for the number of years, from my early primary days until on 𝗃𝗏𝗃 University. I used to go to anywhere from Oguta, and we had a good life. We're one of the lucky ones. Okay, I could be an Oguta early. I ain't a phone. Even when they been at 𝗙𝗏𝗃 the phone, I ain't a phone, you know. So we were a blessed community. I think we need to just take a step back and find creative ways to get ourselves back on track.
Yeah, Lolo, before we go, we just want to tell you that you, first of all, 𝗟𝗏𝗂 𝗓𝗏𝗂, she proud of you, 𝗓𝗏𝗂. You are really true to yourself and your generation on all your response. Then Felix Okwosha, she biko bring some of those development to Oguta. Then our sponsor, May Wadani, he thumbs up, right on. And plenty others that we cannot, of course, say that because my producers are already warning me that we have overshot our time. But thanks again, and then sorry for the mix-up in communication with the producer. We'll do better next time, but we can only get better. Mbona, it's been a wonderful time having you. And some of the other people that we're supposed to bring in, we're going to push them for next week. When they actually put you with 3 people, I nodded my head, and I wanted to complain to my producer that he do alone we need 2 hours. And then, sorry, Victor Nicholas say, I can hear you, Lolo, nice and clear. So a lot of your fans come again,
okay. Yeah. She told me she was going to log on today. She has to leave her job to work.
Yeah, she actually called 1 hour earlier. Even at London time now is 1 hour ahead of or behind us. So she's actually been on and calling that why is the program not on. But we had to let her know that our time.
I appreciate your kind words.
Okay, then finally, just say your final goodbyes to Oguta, and then we'll promise them that we are going to be holding your leg and reminding you so that you can bring some of these good development, like they said, to Oguta.
So, thank you for having me on the show and for listening to my perspective on life and how we can move our Oguta community forward. Interestingly, all of you know my dad. He was a big community man, and I'm sure people that come on my timeline noticed that yesterday was his 20th memorial of his death.
Wow.
I think I'm the only one among all his 8 children that took on his community service thing. Each time I do anything in Oguta, I can have my last community, but somehow I find myself coming back to give to the community that made me who I am. I'm very proud to be from Oguta, and in fact, my son is already considering setting up a sports center in Oguta. But we could only find cheaper land in 𝗏𝗏𝗃 and Oguta. So it will still bring a lot to the community when it finally comes into fruition. So, and thank you for your kind words.
All right. Thank you very much, Ma, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
That was our Lolo 𝗓𝗏𝗂 live on Oguta Roundtable. We thank all our guests and our contributors, and for those of you that some of our guests that we could not bring onto the show today, but we are going to continue this discussion next week at same time, and you will surely be our guest on that program. Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening.